Welcome back to Mortuary Mayhem, a podcast by funeral service professionals for funeral service professionals, where any day above ground is a good one.
We have some incredible announcements, folks. First of all, I just want to announce that community college is now free in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. There's only one catch, as long as you don't have a bachelor's degree or higher. So about a year ago, we brought President John Cox of Cape Cod Community College on the air with us. And he talked about Mass Reconnect. Mass Reconnect was for those that were 25 years or older and did not have any prior college credential. You could have taken all the classes, as long as you didn't graduate with a certificate or degree of any kind, you were good to go. You got free college education as long as you were a Massachusetts resident for at least a year. This just changed. A few weeks ago, the governor of Massachusetts just made a huge announcement that was, what we were now, instead of Mass Reconnect, is now referred to as Mass Educate. And Mass Educate did not replace Mass Reconnect. Mass Reconnect is still there, but Mass Educate is the new thing. And you don't have to know the difference between the two. You apply to a community college in Massachusetts, you get your funeral education, and there's two institutions in Massachusetts providing free community college that fall under this umbrella. That is Cape Cod Community College and North Shore Community College. Bridgewater, Massachusetts is where Cape Cod Community College is actually located for the funeral program. The gen ed classes are still from West Barnstable on the Cape, but Bridgewater State University houses the funeral service program, and Cape Cod has a space dedicated as a Cape Cod space, but dedicated on the Bridgewater State University campus, providing students access to dorms and all the other amenities that the four-year college provides. And then North Shore Community College is in Danvers, Mass, up in the northeast corner of Massachusetts. So you have these two incredible institutions providing free education. Please check them out. The only catch, again, for Mass Educate is that you cannot have a prior bachelor's degree or higher. So it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter if you have multiple associates or certificates, as long as you don't have a bachelor's degree or higher. Again, age and income are completely out. You can make as much money as you want. Income is completely out of the picture on this. You do not need to worry about which one you qualify for. As long as you're a Massachusetts resident, you've been a Massachusetts resident, and you apply to the college, you complete your FAFSA. That's the big catch. Make sure you always complete your FAFSA, because the FAFSA doesn't matter how much money you make in this case. You may not qualify for anything else, but in this circumstance, you are going to qualify for Mass Educate or Mass Reconnect. And the college will determine which one you qualify for. They will handle all the financial aspect of that. You don't have to do anything other than just complete your FAFSA. Now, of course, the government is hoping that you are going to qualify for other funding as well. And in this case, this is a form of financial aid just like anything else. So what you do is you apply, then the school will determine, FAFSA will determine based off of your need if you qualify for Pell Grants or anything else, and what all this other state or federal funding and college funding will encompass. Then whatever is left over is covered by Mass Educate or Mass Reconnect. So if the education is $21,000 for the full 2 years, then if you now have $20,000 of that covered by other means, then that last $1,000 would then be covered by Mass Educate. Again, doesn't matter. As far as you're concerned, you get free education. It's great. You don't really have to worry about how you get it. But even if you didn't qualify for anything else, you make too much money, mom and dad make too much money, and you wouldn't qualify for anything else. In this circumstance, you will still qualify for this, because the full amount, $21,000 or $19,000 or whatever it may be, now is covered by the Mass Educate or Mass Reconnect. Now, the Other things that sometimes come up would be book vouchers and other items. Those items still apply, and if your financial aid qualifies you for a book voucher, you will still get that book voucher. That does not come out void. You still get that book voucher by your other financial aid. It is not covered by Mass Educate, it's not covered by Mass Reconnect, but it is covered by other aid if you qualified. So you would get that, and then you can use that to apply towards the college bookstore. And when you apply that, one thing I always recommend is to figure out what your best value is. So let's say my books are going to cost $250 or $300. Now, first of all, you have to consider what books are going to be used. I know, at least for my program at Cape Cod, we have books that we're going to use for multiple classes. We have books that could be used in 3 or 4 different classes. So renting the book is not financially recommended, not financially viable, because you're going to need that book repetitively over the course of at least 1.5 of those 2 years. So for that reason, renting is not worth it. You're going to want to buy the book. But now I have books like Intro to Business and English and things like that. Do I really need the book? At the end of the day, probably not. Now, I may hold on to a book on APA, citations. I may hold on to a book, a supplemental thing on, how to write papers. Those things might help you. But yes, you can rent your English book. You can rent all these other books that may not be needed later on. But your funeral books, hold on to them. You can always sell them to a fellow student when you graduate, okay? And you take your boards and all of that, and you don't need them anymore. Now you sell your books off. They save money. You make money. It's great. And most bookstores will take your books back. You can sell them back to the bookstore as well, and then they will sell them as used books. But in that circumstance, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to debate over what books you should get through the college bookstore and what books you could get elsewhere. Now, you could get them all through the college bookstore, or you could get them all elsewhere, but if you have a book voucher, this is what I'm specifically referring to. If you have a book voucher, you're going to want to determine, let's say I have a $200 book voucher and it's going to cost me $250 or $300. I now have $50 or $100 I'm going to have to pay out of pocket. So now I'm going to look at the college bookstore. I'm going to determine all of the books that I need for that class, for all my classes, rather. And when I determine that, I'm now going to figure out, I'm going to look at each book, and I'm going to start looking at outside websites. And I'm going to start looking at eBooks and World Books and Chegg and all of these books. Just take the ISBN, put it into your favorite search engine, and let that search engine do the rest, okay? When you put it into that search engine, it will populate all of the websites that are now coming up with that ISBN listed. You could try the textbook title, but you might get different things that are related to it. So I usually use the ISBN, and you're going to get actual bookstores. So now that ISBN comes up, and now I can compare and contrast. I can look at all these different bookstores, and when I look at all these different bookstores, I can determine if any of them have it cheaper than the college bookstore. Some of them are going to be more expensive than the college bookstore, and I can also try to kind of put everything in my cart for each bookstore, the college bookstore and for the other bookstores. Now, at the end, I determine which ones are most financially viable. Now, remind you, I had $200 voucher, so that $200 I'm going to make sure I spend my $200. Now, in many cases, be very careful, because that $200 may cover 2 semesters. Now, there's no harm if you look and say, all right, I can get $200 worth of stuff cheaper at the college bookstore than somewhere else, then spend that right up front. Just know the next semester you might have to be paying out of pocket. But what I can do is I now get that through the college bookstore, and then I look at all my other carts, and I determine, okay, well, this bookstore had 3 out of the 4 books that I needed remaining. You know what? I'm just going to get the 4th book through them as well, even though it's not cheaper. It's off by a few dollars, not exorbitant amount, but that few dollars could get me free shipping. That few dollars could get me, may just be saving, because now the shipping's all bulked together, and as a result, now I don't have to worry about paying shipping for 2 different bookstores, which now the other one's going to have a higher rate because it's that plus weight or whatever it is. So just keep those things in mind, and you kind of play that out. So again, check out Free College. It is on the mortuarymayhem.com website. Is the information about Free College in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Do check that out. It's under the Colleges tab. You'll see something that says Free College. So check that out. But again, this is a huge announcement. So we're really looking forward to this. Education's a lot of money, so this is a great opportunity to provide you that education. Just keep in mind that the regionally accredited colleges, these courses do transfer. So, if it's a regionally accredited, which means it's multi-purpose, it has multiple classes, it's what you would think of as a traditional college, those courses do transfer. So you could take a degree in something if you're looking for the 4-year institution. This is a great time. It doesn't have to be funeral. If you're a Massachusetts resident, start checking out these colleges. Start your nursing career before you go on for your bachelor's. Start your engineering career before you go on your bachelor's. If you just are a major on something that may build upon something else, do biology and then go on for your specialty at the bachelor's level at your 4-year college. All the courses at a community college will transfer again. These are all regionally accredited colleges, so courses when they transfer will get you a step further, and they cost nothing in their circumstance. But even if you had a prior bachelor's and you want to work for another one, this is a great way to get a college education at a very inexpensive rate, or at least get those classes out of the way before moving on. I know personally when I was at doing my traditional 4-year college degree, I spent a lot of time utilizing the community college, actually Cape Cod, go figure, when I was home. So I would take all of my macroeconomics, microeconomics, my Englishes, I would get those out of the way. And then when I went back, those are classes I didn't have to pay for. Which was great because, my 4-year college education was very expensive. And these are college classes that I didn't have to pay for. I did pay for. I'm sorry. I paid by the credit, but at a much lower rate, and then brought them back with me. And those are classes I didn't have to pay the higher rate for, and I was able to focus for those years on my specialty courses. And I did take some of the liberal arts there, and it was great courses, and I got them at a, very prestigious level, the courses that I took. But mostly I was able to focus on those specialty courses that started my career off. Another great announcement while we have some time is check out continuingvision.com. On Continuing Vision, there's some great things. There's webinars. There are in-person seminars. There's actually 2 seminars coming up. There's a September 11th seminar just took place in, we have October 8th in New York City. There you can earn 6 continuing education. That includes 2 law continuing educations within that 6 for a small fee. It's in Long Island, and you have both Carrie Northey and John Hill. So both very dynamic speakers, excellent speakers that are going to be on that stage. Again, check it out, continuingvision.com. And you can also see John Hill I believe, and also in the fall on September 27th through the 29th. Sorry, it just took me a second there to find the date. My apologies. September 27th through 29th, that is coming up. So check it out. John Hill will be in North Carolina. You can see him in his home state down there. So check that out. He will be talking about the Restore program. Then we have coming up a few webinars. The webinars are going to be usually about an hour. They're very inexpensive. Please check these out. Continuing Vision. Click on it. You'll see a webinars tab. The upcoming webinars, you will see Reagan Moreland speaking on the Magic Touch on October 11th. You will see Elise Worland speaking on October 15th. And you will have Edith Churchman on ethics on changing times. We'll be speaking on October 7th. And then yours truly on October 29th. You will see from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yours truly will be presenting on OSHA, the infection control for this course. This is the OSHA course. This course is required in pretty much every state for both getting your apprentice license or internship license, keeping and maintaining your funeral directing and embalming licenses every year. So again, this is the requirement. This is the opportunity. Jump on there. It's only $40. Seriously, $40. You get to listen to me speak for an hour. And I will be speaking live. This is going to be amazing. And the different things that we're going to cover is in infection control and chemical control would include an outline of protective practices and chemical hazard practices, as well as we're going to go over personal protective equipment. We're going to go in depth with some infectious agents, environmental health. It's going to be great. I really look forward to having everyone on there. So again, go to continuingvision.com/webinars. You can click, there is a link, continuingvision.com. You'll click the webinars tab. Go scroll down there, click on that, and you can register. Again, each one of these webinars that I mentioned is only $40. Really, seriously, guys, jump on that and take those. You can learn a lot. There's always new courses being added, so again, check back to see what the next webinar is that you can jump on. And again, there's a couple live ones as well. And hopefully I do have something in the works, so hopefully I'll announce we have a couple things out in New York and North Carolina right now through Continuing Vision. But check back. I'm personally going to start working on a conference for the East Coast as well. So hopefully we'll see something to that effect in the springtime. So look forward to that. Until now, if you have any topics you'd like to hear, again, there's a comment box on the mortuarymayhem.com website. I'd love to hear it. We do have a couple things scheduled out that we will get recorded and we'll get on the air soon. But if there's any topics you want to hear, again, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to cover the topics that you're interested in. That's what we're here for.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Mortuary Mayhem. For links to information discussed during this episode, please visit the website at www.mortuarymayhem.com. Do you have questions, comments, suggestions for topics, or want to be a guest on the show? Email us at podcast@mortuarymayhem.com. We should do this again sometime.